Hi, good afternoon. Uh, all right, well, where do things stand? Pretty much, I have not, I just got in, just got chores finished, and um, just getting online, checking out where things are. We have several tornado warnings at the moment, but no confirmed as of right now. Right now, the best game in town is across central Illinois. Let me zoom out a bit. Central Illinois here. These cells are a little bit more messy. This cell near Decatur is rotating pretty good. And then we also have southeast of the Kansas City area, we have another. This here's the cold front, and we have some cells popping out in front of the cold front. And these are showing pretty good uh, rotation at the moment. Nothing really dramatic. This one near Clinton, Missouri, heading towards, oh, Tightwad, Missouri. Interesting. You'll find all kinds of really interesting town names when you go lurking around the radar sometimes. So right now, Missouri and Illinois are the best game in town. Indiana has a tornado watch up currently, and let me take a quick look at that. Yeah, that tornado watch runs until 1 a.m. So that they're going to be in for it a little bit later. Um, and that watch is basically the central portion of the state. Uh, so Lafayette, Indianapolis, Terre Haute, up to close to Fort Wayne. So my friends there in Southwest Indiana and the Indianapolis area will be getting to you eventually. If you are watching, uh, go ahead and drop a comment in there. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll try to answer any questions you might have. Right now, until there's a little bit more action, I'm just going to be kind of trolling around, and you can, I guess, follow along, for lack of a better term, at what I look at and what I pay attention to in a case like this. So do some reading, and we'll just troll around and take a look at what's going on. So welcome aboard. Hope I don't bore you to tears. And if you have any questions, please obviously drop me a comment. I'm watching the chat, so uh, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, appreciate it. If you want to be notified for future events and future videos, educational videos, and so on. So I will just be tootling around and keeping an eye on things. And again, welcome aboard. Hi there, Haley. How are you? Western Ohio may be in for some fun, but that would be way later. So, and it would be probably far southwestern Ohio. This is just incredible. Yeah, some of these parameters for storm relative helicity, which is a a measure of the spin in the atmosphere. Some of these measurements are just insane. Is that 1200, 1300? This is, yeah, no, this is just outrageous. That's why this storm system today is so crazy because the thermodynamics and the moisture aren't the best, but the amount of kinematics, the wind shear, and the spin in the atmosphere is just unbelievable. Off this is obscene. This is straight obscene. Yeah, no, these values are unheard of. Just crazy. Yeah. That's what makes me worry for Indiana here in about the next two hours or so. Western Indiana, southwestern Indiana, kind of nerve-wracking. Thermodynamics are not the best, like I said. Still fighting a little bit of capping here across, pardon me, across. Well, it wasn't so much isobars. Those that's it's a it was mapping the helicity or the spin in the atmosphere, the wind shear, and they are very tight. But more than that, it's the values, how high they are. They're just they're values that shouldn't be there. I mean, extreme helicities are like 500, 600 meters squared per second squared. Those, according to this modeling, we're showing like 12 and 1300 meters squared per second squared. I mean, just unbelievable. This I'm looking at right now is showing the instability uh, uh, in the atmosphere, in the lower parts of the atmosphere. Um, it's maximized here along the front where there's a lot less capping, but the real strong wind shear is out here. Western Missouri right now is looking like some of the area where the instability and the wind shear are best co-located. Not perfect, but really strong. It doesn't need to be perfect when you have this much wind shear. It's just outrageous. All right. Yeah, that's these cells here. This is western Missouri. The cold front here. It's just to the south of Kansas City. Here's the Kansas City Metro up here. Gonna maximize this window a little bit more. There we go. Pardon me. Yeah, these cells along the front might would have a little bit less of an opportunity to be tornadic. These cells out in front where the warnings are currently have the better chance. They are rotating pretty good. Not fantastic. There's one near Tightwad. I love that. Tightwad, Missouri. That's quite a name. And then we have one near Appleton City, Missouri. These are moving about east southeast, showing pretty good rotation there. Not overly dramatic. Let's go take a look here. Yeah, now this storm mode here. This is central Illinois. So Lincoln, Illinois is here. Here's Springfield, Tuscola, Champaign up here. These are a little bit more messy. Um, this cell here approaching Terre Haute. I always say Terre Haute. It's Terre Haute, Indiana. Uh, it's it's got the best look right now. A derecho storm? No, not yet. Um, these these could turn into what you might call a derecho. Um, those are mainly straight line wind events where you have a large complex, uh, and it really has to be cranking. Those are relatively rare. A true derecho. Uh, what came through Illinois, Indiana this morning was more standard, called a mesoscale convective system, and that's a very strong storm system that has uh, straight line winds as its primary hazard. But no, none of this would be a derecho yet. Let's see. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on these cells out of eastern Illinois, keeping an eye on western Indiana. Quite a few folks I know down there in the Bedford, Bloomington area, and of course around Indianapolis. Nothing there yet. Let's storm up near near Warsaw, Missouri. Right now looks to be the best game in town. Nothing dramatic. We'll just be keeping an eye. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this cell here is just east southeast of Decatur, Illinois. It's looking a little bit better. Really, really strong uh, reflectivity. I'm wondering if there's probably some giant hail in this, but also very, very pronounced rotation couplet here. Yeah, this bears some watching. I think they're going to reissue a tornado warning on this one real soon. Definitely something to keep an eye on here. This would be heading towards Sullivan, Illinois, Humboldt, Illinois, Arcola, Arthur, Oakland, Illinois, Charleston, Illinois. Yeah, this bears some watching. They're still holding a tornado warning on this cell over here. It's got a pretty good rotational signature as well. Not quite as pronounced as over here by Sullivan and Lovington. Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I had to watch a funny fat video, cat video from my daughter. She came and had to show me these silly cats. So I always have time for silly cats. Always. All right. Oh, oh, up to two viewers. All right. Boy, I'm really cooking now. Watch out. Let's go take a look over here. Yeah, St. Louis, I'm not so sure now. Hmm. Yeah, St. Louis, not sure. what the prognosis holds here. The discrete nature of some of these cells does make me a little bit nervous, but we'll have to just see how things develop. There's still some time though before anything happens in the St. Louis area. Oh yeah, geez, this is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm looking over some of the model data, and the amount of wind shears is just ridiculous. Definitely, definitely a high-end event, possibly. And unfortunately only going to continue to ramp up as as the evening progresses here. Yeah, I'm quite surprised they don't have a warning on this. Obviously, there's quite a few chasers around it. I'm keeping an eye on another chaser live stream. Um, there are quite a few chasers on this storm, so it's covered pretty well. I'm a little surprised that the Weather Service hasn't pulled the trigger on a warning on this. Perhaps they will soon. Sorry about that. Still fighting the gunk again. It's been a tough year for allergies. Yeah, keeping an eye on some of the streams. Uh, Huh. this storm mode across central Indiana right now is really, or sorry, central Illinois. It's really messy. We'll have to see whether these storms can start to break up a little bit, become a little more discreet. Let's take a little tour around. Yeah, that line of storms off Kansas City. No warnings on it at the moment. This one here looks pretty good. Let's see where things are going. Yeah, there's some rotation in there. There's definitely some rotation there. Just north of Metz, Missouri. Bears to watch it. Let's see. St. Louis, nothing really dramatic right now in the St. Louis area. We'll just keep an eye. Here, this is far eastern Illinois, right on the border with Indiana. Terre Haute. I'll get it eventually. I know this is not the most riveting streaming that you can see out there, but I appreciate you hanging in. And basically, this is how I would be spending my time otherwise, keeping an eye on all this. So you can look over the shoulder a little bit and be bored to tears. If nothing else, it's a good sleep uh, sleep agent. Turn this on, listen to me drone on about rotation, and that'll put anybody to sleep. Yeah, this storm structure is really odd on radar, at least. Uh, certainly looks looks dramatic. Really, really strong rotation here. Keep an eye on another stream, and yeah, you can really, really see a really strong wall cloud out of this cell. Near Mattoon and Humboldt, Illinois. No warning as of this moment. Excuse me. Yeah, we might be getting ready here. I expect a tornado warning here anytime. This is looking a lot better. Pardon me. Ooh, I've got to get that fixed. right here between Mattoon and Humboldt, Illinois. It's getting ready to roll, I think. Yep, there it is. Tornado warning. Charleston, Illinois, in the path of this. About the next 10 or 15 minutes. Yep, yep. I think we got it. I think there's a tornado wrapped up in there. Waukesha, Illinois. Yeah, we're in business now. Oh, it's looking a lot better from a rotation standpoint. Strong velocity coupler right here. Yep, confirmed tornado. It's bad news. It's looking, scrolling out a little bit. This thing would be heading in the general direction. The area is just south of Terre Haute, and moving then on into western Indiana eventually. quick pan around. Make sure I'm not losing anything else. Let's pan back over here. There's a new tornado warning on this cell just south of Springfield. I see that. Yeah. This looks like it's kind of going to be the MO for the evening is might get these what look like pretty ragged storms, but they're in such a high wind shear environment that yeah, it's not going to take a lot to get these things spinning. Certainly have quite a rotation signature on this cell here. Scroll back over here to our confirmed tornado. Up really quick. This does not look good for Charleston, Illinois. Looks like it's coming right into your town. Pardon me about that. Thank you. Make everybody sick. Yeah. This is bad news. Just tell you, bring you up to speed a bit about what I'm looking at here. This is the radar I'm looking at is a 4 panel. So essentially 4 different readings on the same area. This is the base velocity. This is what you would typically see that shows the basic shape of the storm. Uh, the how heavy the precipitation is. Of course, the darker red colors are heavier precipitation. It's good for showing the shape of the storm, hook echoes, interactions with other storms, and so on forth, and so on and so forth. Below that, we have the storm relative velocity. So this basically looks at the motion and speed of particles within the storm relative to the radar. This is the Doppler effect, where you have cool colors indicating motion towards the radar, and in this case, the radar is up here to the upper left, and then warm colors is motion away from the radar, and where you have warm and cool right next to each other, that's where you'll have, motion this way, motion this way. That's where your rotation is. This is a normalized rotation signature. That's essentially a mathematical derivation of this of this velocity. And then you have here, this is the correlation coefficient. It's basically looking at debris signature, and it's measuring items in the air, and anything that's non-uniform in a vertical and horizontal axis is basically shows up as a minimization, or as a dark cool color. So this would be debris, anything like that. Whereas hailstones, raindrops, anything that's roughly spherical is roughly symmetrical in a vertical and horizontal axis. So it shows up as a dark red. Anything that's non-uniform would be where you see this drops in correlation coefficient. Yeah, this is not good. Coming right in Charleston. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye a little bit in, oh my gosh, there's Brandon Kopic's stream. He is in Charleston, Illinois, and he's getting absolutely hammered. Yeah, it's tough to see. It's wrapped up deeply in rain, as you can see here on the radar. Very strong rotation. Yeah, boy, howdy. Not good. Heavens. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm watching Brandon Kopic's stream, and it looks like he is in a bad spot. Some of these chasers just I don't I don't get it. I just don't get it. apologize. It looks like there's a confirmed tornado here out on this storm as well, near Jaysville, 10 miles west of Taylorville. Okay. Oh, yep, there it is right there. No, never mind. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, let's pop over back over here to Charleston. Next, it looks like it's heading in the direction of Westfield, Illinois. Westfield and Marshall, Illinois. Yeah, boy, howdy, what a storm. That really ramped up. Yeah, you can see now in terms of the overall shape of the storm, it looks like a really messy radar picture in terms of this. This is not what you'd expect to see a strong tornado, a strong supercell look like. But the shear environment is so strong that even non uh, you know non ideal storm situation in terms of instability, in terms of storm mode, it doesn't matter. When you have this much wind shear, any storm can be a really bad storm. Yeah, just resetting here. Large tornado just came through Charleston, Illinois, heading towards Westfield, Illinois. This is in basically eastern Illinois, real close to the Indiana border.
Hi.
That's my youngest, Christina. She loves to she loves to join the stream. Well, there's only one person watching right now, so oh boy. Let's take a look here.
Shout out to Haley.
Christina says hi.
What?
She knows me. She's friends with me on Facebook, so she's seen your pictures and stuff. You're so silly. Yeah, she just came in to get some ice cream and to bother me, which is the best. So it'll be a question of how the atmosphere recovers to see just how bad the storms are going to get, and they could get plenty bad. Do you think the Belleville tornado will be the one to track down to Dayton? I'm not sure. Um, we'll have to see. It's going to be a while before anything. And I think Dayton may end up being north of the worst of the dynamics. Um, let me take a look. Yeah, I don't know that Dayton's going to be in for much of anything. Um, possibly, but I think the worst of the worst dynamics are going to be south of there. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how things develop. Well, looks like a new tornado warning on the cell. I'm going to switch over to Indianapolis radar. Okay, yeah, I see it there. Yeah, some rotation there, just east of Terre Haute, tracking more towards the Indianapolis side. So yeah, this is starting to come into western Indiana now. Keep an eye on this. Switch this over. Correlation coefficient. Near Brazil, Indiana. So many fascinating names. Take a look. Kansas City radar. These aren't looking quite as robust. Yeah, that's still there. Still looking fairly good. Might switch over to Springfield radar here. Just opening a quick window on my local area here. Just make sure I'm not missing anything close to home. Yeah, we got some popping along that front just to our north. Nothing dramatic. All right, let's pop back up to Lincoln, Illinois. Yeah, that storm is not looking quite as dramatic now. Definitely needs to be kept an eye on. It's still rotating pretty good. Um, they've dropped the confirmation on this one. Still have a confirmed tornado down here. And this warning's getting a little old. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we may be looking here near Pana, moving in on Pana, Illinois. Rotation's starting to pick back up. Starting to cycle back again. This storm structure's not overly, impressive, but boy, in this shear environment, it doesn't matter when you have that much wind shear. Yeah, they're just to the south of Kansas, Illinois, Grandview, Illinois. They say moving east, which is not good news for Terre Haute. So that certainly bears watching. Anybody you know in Terre Haute, I'm going to be right back in just a few minutes.